Okay, call to order the regular council meeting of January 18th, 2023. Item 2, adoption of agenda. Recommendation that council adopts the agenda. I get seconder, Councilor Woodall. All those in favor? Thank you. 3, adoption of minutes. There's none. There is a note there stating that the minutes will be ready for the January 9th.
Next agenda.
Yeah, I was going to
Next
say.
agenda.
Next agenda, yeah. Item number 4, introduction of late items, none. Public hearings, none. Delegation, yes. 6.1, recommendation.
The council hears from the delegation from the Dawson Creek RCMP.
Okay, seconder. All right, and you proceed. You can stand at the podium, or you can kind of stand wherever you see fit.
So I am Sergeant Jamie Moffat. Thank you for having me. I'm just temporarily the detachment commander for Dawson Creek until the new commander is in place. So I can just go over our crime stats for the month of December 2022. Just to make you aware, a new detachment commander has been identified and is in the process of relocating, so just depending on house sales and house purchases, hopefully will be in place in the March area of time. And I think it'll be a good fit for the detachment. We're currently still running with 2 members on soft leave, which is a maternity or paternity leave, and 1 off-duty sick or injured, and 1 hard vacancy. So, but we did just get a recruit in. We're getting another recruit in February. So hopefully we'll just keep seeing that trend for a while. So our total calls for service up to and including December 31st was 9,353, compared to the same period last year of 8,874 calls, so it's an increase of approximately 5.4%. Of those, 7,447, or 80% of the calls for service were within the city of Dawson Creek, with 1,906, or 20% of the calls for service within the rural surrounding areas. Comparative for last year for the same time period, this equates to an increase of calls for service within the city of 6.8% and 0.4% in the rural areas. The following trends have been outlined from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, pertaining to calls for service and proactive investigations. Theft of vehicles, there were 159 calls for service, where there were 122 calls for service the same period last year, so this is showing an increase in 30.3%. Theft from vehicle, there have been 129 calls for service, where there were 111 for the same time last year, showing an increase of 16.2%. Break and enter to residence, there were 78 calls for service, where there were 89 calls for service the same period last year, so this is showing a decrease in 12.4%. Break and enter to businesses, there were 156 calls for service, where there were 78 calls for service the same time period last year, showing an increase of 100%. Assault and assault with a weapon or aggravated assaults, there were 247 calls for service, where there were 239 the same time last year. This is a decrease of 3.3%. Sexual assault and sexual interferences, there were 43 calls for service, where there were 43 calls last year, so we're sitting the same. Drug possession and drug trafficking, there were 31 calls for service, where there were 54 calls for service the same period last year, which is showing a decrease in 42.6%. Impaired driving, including 24-hour suspensions, immediate roadside prohibitions, there were 153 calls for service, where there was 193 calls for service the same period last year, showing a decrease of 20.7%. Motor vehicle collisions, there were 373 calls for service, where there were 370 calls for service the same time last year. This is an increase of 0.8%. Theft, including like general and shoplifting, there were 487 calls for service, where there were 384 calls for service the same period last year, showing an increase of 26.8%. And our mental health calls for service were at 565 calls this year, where there were 364 calls for service the same period last year, showing an increase of 55.2%. As a result of the increase in the property crime, theft of vehicles, break and enters to businesses. We've recently formed the Peace Region Crime Reduction Unit, which is a complement of members from Fort St. John, Dawson Creek, and North District out of Prince George that are designated on this unit, and their focus is targeting prolific offenders and the ones responsible for these offenses. And we just recently had 2 highlights for January, which is really good. String of break and enters and thefts to several businesses from Fort St. John through Dawson Creek resulted in a suspect being located and arrested in Grand Prairie the following day. And these efforts of our Peace Region Crime Prevention Unit, as well as coupled with Alberta units, they have the WAD crew, which is a designated unit just for these offenders, as well as Beaver Lodge Enhanced Enforcement. We're able to get the person responsible in custody, and so that one's going before the courts. And another one is a target of a prolific property offender who was well known to be multi-jurisdictional, so between here and Alberta. He was being sought due to his outstanding warrants, and the teams along with Dawson Creek General Duty and the Police Dog Services worked in unison and were able to locate him, and he's successfully been located and arrested. So prior to this report, we did have 3 prolific offenders into custody, which actually saw an immediate reduction in theft of vehicles and the thefts in the area, which is what we expect when we look at crime stats, and generally there's very few that are responsible but causing most of the problems. So it's evident that as soon as these ones were arrested, it saw a great reduction in our stats there. Our annual policing priorities, we're just wrapping these up to be coming to meet to focus on what the new year priorities will be for Coos and all the other areas. So there's nothing really to update on that because they were pretty much wrapped up and we're just in the conclusion stages. Yeah, so that's about all I have to update on. If there's any questions.
Actually, I have a question. So, with us being, so close to Dawson Creek, often sort of what happens there does often happen here. We have that bit of a ripple effect. And one thing we've definitely noticed is a group of citizens have formed due to concerns. Is this, from what you're seeing, one of the biggest complaints is a lot of them are saying, well, these same people are being picked up and then they're being released. Is this due to a backup in the court system? Is it one of those kind of?
Not so much a backup in the court system. I think the direction given is if somebody is picked up for an offense, and depending on what their criminal history and depending on the severity, so violence against people is top of the bar, right?
Yeah.
Prolific offenders in the property area, they're not. The threshold for trying to detain them in custody has a lot of factors, so the judges have to look at that, and what they do look at is they must release if there's certain criteria met. Mm-hmm. Where new direction from the Attorney General to the justice system was because of public concern on violent people being released for the same reasons. They've now, you need to consider all of this, and if they can be detained and should be detained, we're going to do our best to detain them for public safety. And I think everything's so, that's for the province of BC, and it just it's hard because our area, our person offenses are down, but our property crimes are way up, right? So Dawson Creek City Council, they had a meeting with the Attorney General last Monday, I believe, the 9th maybe, and some of those concerns were brought up, specific to area and region. So I think further communications are ongoing regarding that, so maybe we'll see some acknowledgement that
Changes,
these are the
yeah.
problems in our area like, that need to be focused on, so we're hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not the core system backup, it's just, it's priority and, the justice system because of all the long-term, you know, how many people are in custody. So they're looking at, like, how can we manage this and not everybody can be detained. We'll release on conditions and hopefully they get applied and we can carry on until their court date.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I know like that is definitely a conversation. We are sort of hearing a lot more online on these, you know, social media groups, especially like, you know, the ones that are attached to the communities. They're having a lot of those. And, you know, with that tends to come small town talk of, well, I've heard it's this and I've heard. And so it's really, really nice to get a little bit more clarity on that.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions for
Question.
Councilor Whittle?
So, with the mental health calls, that's an increase of 50% this year. So is that something, like, I know in other jurisdictions, they're starting to try and throw the problems, they're starting to putting mental health workers with RCMP officers with members. So is that something that's being explored for the Peace region as a possibility? Or?
That hasn't really come up, because they do have, Northern Health does have a mental health team that, like, we can call on to assist. I think the increase in mental health, and I think it's pretty much across the board everywhere, was with COVID shutdown. A lot of services shut down, nothing in person, and now like the burnout rate, how many people, like I know so many people that they can't even work their clients or they've had to come back in time because they're just burnt out as well. I think it's just resourcing for sure, trying to get people in those positions to support people's mental health, and it's just a lack of resources everywhere trying to deal with these issues. Yeah, but, and I don't know what Dawson, I know they were trying it in, even Kelowna, like they do have designated, but to have that a full time, like night shift, day shift, it's a hard mix. But right now we're seeing like with the one unit that will come out and we work alongside them really well, and when we have issues they're able to like kind of bridge some of the gaps and get people where they need to be. So, but that should be something absolutely that if we can have the resources to
It's definitely one of those like, you know, ladder systems where if one of those rungs isn't in place, that falls on the next person who falls on the next. And so, yeah, you know, I can't imagine the increase in a bit of that social working bit that, you know, you guys are constantly having to take on as well as all the other things that are going on within, you know, our area here. So, wow, yeah, that's for sure. Councillor Johnson, do you have any questions or anything? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. We always love it whenever you guys come out and give us these, and it's a nice opportunity for us to sort of connect and chat. And I know that the community right now has a lot of interest in this whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, with this being filmed and stuff, you know, they can view it and you know, find some of those stats out and stuff. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, and if there's any questions or anything you want, I'm available all the time. So I'll send Sandy my information other than just the direct line to the office because I'm not there all the time.
That would be great. Yeah, thank you. And you can stick around if you want. The meeting doesn't really get too much more entertaining, so you're more than welcome to leave. I know you're a very busy person.
I'm just gonna have to drive back to Tumblr, but I appreciate the offer.
Well, have a very safe drive, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, have a wonderful night. Wait, my laptop back up. Alrighty. Number 7, unfinished business and business arising from the minutes. So, none. So 8, new business, recommendation 8.1.
Recommend that council approves the letter to Treaty 8 submitted by Mayor Beach.
Okay, can I get a seconder? Councillor Woodall, discussion. So I had sort of wanted to send this earlier, but with the whole court thing that was going on, I just wanted to make sure that was cleared up before I had reached out. And as soon as I received the thumbs up for that, I sort of sent this off to Ms. Stokes, and I'm really hoping that we can get the opportunity to, you know, either go out and see them, or have them come here, or, you know, even Zoom. I would love to reestablish that relationship and communication, and I think it, you know, it would be beneficial for our community to once again be working in relation with the Treaty 8 Tribal Council. So if council's all good with it, then yeah. All those in favor?
I say we approve of that.
Yeah.
Perfect, unanimous and carried. Thank you.
We'll start working with them again.
8.2 recommendations.
Recommend that council approves travel and accommodation expenses for mayor, council, and CAO up to
Can I forget?
$19.48 per person to attend the Local Government Leadership Association Elected Officials Seminar Series in Prince George from March 15th to 17th, 2023.
Second by Councillor Whittle, thank you very much. Yes, I am excited about this. From the text messages from Councillor Wall and Rabble, they're also very excited about it as well. This is something that, yeah, hopefully everybody can go to, including the Stokes and staff that are interested. So, all those in favor? Unanimous and carried, wonderful.
It's a good opportunity.
Yeah, no, I think it sounds great.
I've been doing long time.
Well, I like how they divided up between the two streams, where you got the newly elected and people that are returning.
Yeah.
So
That's a
good opportunity.
Alrighty, can I get somebody to read 8.3 recommendation?
That the Village of Pooskoopi supports the grant application to the 2023 Emergency Support Services and Emergency Support Services Reception Center set up through the UBCM Community Emergency Preparedness Fund for a grant of up to $25,000.
Can I get a seconder? Councillor Johnson, thank you. Ms. Stokes, I just had a question about this. So this looks fantastic. I think that's awesome. So we would be working alongside Dawson Creek. So in the event of needing access to a shelter, would our residents be driving into Dawson Creek, or would we? Yes, Ms. Stokes. Ms. Stokes.
So, this is so that we are able to provide emergency support services to, in the event of disaster or flood, and what Dawson is proposing is they have already purchased a trailer. So it's actually gonna be a mobile unit, and the money that and they've started furnishing it, like they've applied for this grant last year and they got it. This year it will be $25,000 per community that's being applied for. So that will actually give us a $50,000 buying power as opposed to 25. And Dawson is actually heading this up. Their emergency management manager is the one who's working on this. So currently we have a trailer. They have 10 laptops. They have some other stuff. And then there's a list of stuff that has come out, things like making shelter kits and office kits and getting tables and chairs and printers and things like that, so that the trailer is always ready to go. In the event of an emergency, if it's in Poos, they'll bring it out to Poos. If it's in Dawson, take it out to Dawson. The idea is it's a mobile trailer that we'll be using.
And so this trailer is sort of used as like a task force base for handling.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially in the event of areas that don't have a community center or somewhere where we can house people. It's the emergency command center. It's where people can come and get a voucher to go to a hotel or things like that, or get information as to where they can go in an emergency.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna have everything in it.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Any other questions?
Yeah, well, I think this is really good. I think this is definitely something we should support. And over the fact that we actually have members within our community that have done some training and work with the emergency services out of Dawson and for setting up the reception centers and that kind of stuff. So Yeah, it's great to see the two communities working together.
Mrs. Stokes?
This is step number 1, getting us to apply for the grant. Step number 2 is we are going to be putting a call out to the community for volunteers. Part of the money that is in here will go to training people. Most of the training is free online, but there is what's called the NEST conference, and I don't know what it stands for. I'm sorry, Northeast
Service, safety,
something like that. But it's a conference that's going to be held in Prince George, and the cost to attend that is they've allocated funds for up to 4 people to go, and they'll cover the cost for those people to go. So it's things like that that we're going to pay for.
oh, wonderful, okay, perfect. Councillor Whittle?
Yeah, the other thing I'll see with this too is the province and other surrounding communities quite often offer different levels of training for emergency operations centers. So there's a lot of opportunity for our staff to work with staff from other communities, which helps to build those bridges. So in the case of emergency and we need resources, it makes resourcing a lot easier. And myself, I went through a good chunk of this training, and it's definitely worthwhile.
Okay, alrighty, well, all those in favor? Unanimous and carried, thank you very much. Alright, recommendation 8.4.
Recommend that council pre-approves the budget and directs administration to begin the work on the official community plan and strategic plan before the final budget is completed.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Whittle. So in that conversation that we had with Urban Systems in regard to the community plan, they were also talking about the idea of sort of doing a update to it, so rather than doing a full-blown change and stuff. So this amount, the impact of the budget of $70,000 for the original community plan and the $33,000 for the strat plan, is that like a full work through? So like if we were rewriting the whole thing, or is that the update that we've sort of spoken about?
It's the official community plan update.
So it's the whole thing, okay.
Just wanted to double check that.
Okay, perfect. Any questions or concerns? No? Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous and carried. Thank you. Okay, correspondence. Anybody see anything?
Yeah, actually, 9.3.
Oh, I just wrote talk on that one. All right, Councillor Whittle, what would you like to say for 9.3?
So, memory serves me correctly, I think that this is in support, or Chuckland's doing a letter of support against the Bill C-21 with the new changes they want to make to the Rifle Act, or the Gun Control Act. So yeah, it'd be something, this definitely impacts our community, or members of our community and surrounding area, if they start willy-nilly, designating which rifles people can and can't use. When you start getting into the details of it, from the people I've talked to, it gets pretty asinine, and there's some simple stuff in there that's going to, really prevent people from going out and actually hunting and being able to purchase ammunition and everything else. And for a lot of our residents in this area, it's a way of life for a lot of people and a way to sustain their families. So I would definitely be in support, or I'd like to make a motion that we also draft a letter similar to what Chetwynd has in supporting them. Okay, so that's
I'll second that.
Councillor Johnson. Okay, all those in favor of staff drafting a letter? Unanimous and carried. Thank you, Councillor Whittle, for bringing that up. I was going to make the same motion, so I'm really glad to see that Council's thinking along the same lines of supporting not only our local communities, but also our Treaty 8 members as well. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else see anything under correspondence? I was going to talk on 9.8, that council received a letter from Enbridge as information. I'm wondering, Mrs. Stokes, if this is a way that we could reach out and sort of begin communications with them, maybe have them come in and meet with us. I think that this would be a great opportunity for us to form a relationship with one of our oil field companies within the area, especially when it's coming to doing some of those community plans and community projects. We could definitely look at different oil companies within the area for support for such things as park updates, trail updates. And, you know, the step one is beginning communication. So I would like to make a motion that staff reach out to Enbridge and maybe see if they would be interested in coming in and meeting with us. Can I get a second on that? Second, Councillor Johnston. Wonderful. All those in, just hang on.
Just to clarify, do you want a special meet and greet, or would you like them to come in as a delegation?
Whatever works best for you.
Yeah, kind of whatever. Let's do a meet and greet rather than a delegation. That way they don't feel like they need to come in and do a big presentation. We're just really looking to begin step one, and that's beginning communication with them.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous and carried. Thank you so much. Okay, any other notes here? No, that was all. Anybody else see anything that they would like to talk on? All right, moving on then. Resolutions, none. 11, bylaws, 11.1, recommendation.
The council gives a fourth reading and adopts a amendment financial plan 2022-2026, bylaw number 1043, 2002.
Alrighty. Okay, and can I have a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Johnston. Okay. I'm having a moment where I'm being totally forgetful. Thank you. All those in favor? Unanimous and carried. I was thinking somebody needed to read it out like this. Okay, thank goodness. I was like, wait, does somebody need to read this out just to be for sure? But no, we're all good. Thank you. All right, number 12, administration report, CAO report. Give us the down low, Mrs. Stokes.
It's all right here. She says this every week.
She's like, don't you people read?
Do I have anything to add? Let's see. Still waiting on the building inspector, still waiting for the package from seniors aging in place. They said by the end of the month. Garbage and recycling RFP is progressing. Union contract is completed. We have posted the position for the CFO. We've had 3 people apply so far. We've posted for a Public Works temporary position because one of our employees is off on medical leave right now. And our conflict resolution, 1/3 of us have completed it. 2 are still in process. I can read the progress as people are going, and somebody's in the middle.
I opened it and looked at it.
What is you?
Is somebody in the middle and somebody's at 0?
Anyway,
All right, I'm moving.
we're doing good with that. What else? Is there anything else no? Water bills went out last week. I don't have anything else to update you on. I'm sorry. It's getting
No
to
news
be
is
nice.
good news.
I have some things in the works, but I'm not ready to report on them. I did have somebody ask me for an update from Northwind's Wellness Center, one of the counselors. I'm pleased to announce that they will be coming as a delegation on February 1st.
Oh,
To
wonderful.
give everybody an update on what's going on over there. So that's in place. Who else? Shaw. Oh, well, Shaw is supposed to be a delegation on March 15th, but given that everybody's going to be gone,
Oh, no.
I will arrange with her to, we'll change the date. And on that note, I need a motion to cancel the March 15th council meeting.
I'll make a motion to cancel the March 15th council meeting because we're all out of town.
Okay, all those yes, Councillor Johnston seconds, all those in favor, unanimous and carried. Yes, we're all going to, what is it, the Local Government
Local
Leadership.
Government Leadership Association.
Academy, I thought it was.
No, it's association.
Oh, there you go. We're all going finding places to learn things and stuff, which is fantastic, about local government, so wonderful. Okay.
March 15th.
We may need to just reschedule this meeting, but for now, we'll just cancel it. I'm sure that the finance department may have something to say, seeing as how it's budget season. So we may need that meeting.
I can see Miss McNair's eyebrow from here.
So, anyway, and that's it.
Okay, wonderful, thank you very much. Action items, the list is, the list is getting so small, it's so tiny. So, yes, Ms. Stokes?
Just a note, I did reach out to Dare to Dream Society. I have not heard back from them yet.
Counselor
I
Woodall?
will try.
I'll put that in my report.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. And you also had something you wanted to add?
Number 2, the health and safety manual.
Yes,
I know you guys are making some good progress on that a while ago, and
We
we're
were.
still kind of,
we were.
well, you got some information from other communities to.
I have another health and safety manual that I believe we should follow. It's only 89 pages long.
Alright.
I keep looking at it. Does that count?
And is there a requirement, like, that we have to have it implemented by a certain time, or we just kind of as we go? get it implemented?
We have implemented several safety precautions and procedures within our office and Public Works and Fire Department, thanks in part to our lovely admin assistant over there. She's very diligent, and we've come a long way in the last year and a half when it regards to health and safety. As far as the manual is concerned, I have to admit, I look at it and I go, oh no. And I go, what else can I do in place? So, I have been looking at it in the last couple days, and I do have one from Dawson that is actually very good. It's much more brief report or manual, and I think maybe we can piggyback on theirs. And
Yeah, no point reinventing the wheel.
Yes, exactly.
so I have been looking into it, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else see anything on action items? Oh, Counselor Woodall?
You are.
Number 4, the community recreation policy, is that still something that staff's gonna bring back to us?
Yes, but we only talked about this in December.
Well, that was last year.
Last year.
He's not technically wrong. No. It was 2022 then.
Yes.
Okay.
The person who is wanting to work on that's been a little busy lately. So, but we will get to it, yep. I'm gonna change the deadline dates for a lot of these, just so you know. I'm gonna push them 6 months from now. You can ask every time, that's okay.
No, just those are a couple things we haven't heard anything on in a little
Yeah.
bit, so I just wanted to better update where we're at with those.
And I'm still waiting for an answer on the building inspector from Dawson.
Yeah, got that now.
Okay, perfect. And 12.3 capital special projects, the new list will be coming out, once we pass the budget, so that's fantastic. So, counselor calendars, well, we're already like in the middle of January. Anybody see anything?
Coming up for the next month, Miss Stokes.
Are you in February or January?
Actually, I have dates for March.
I have dates for March,
Uh,
they've changed,
March, just let me double check, I just wanna make sure.
1st to the 6th, isn't it?
Yes, okay, just wanna make sure. In case we have to
Aren't I
reschedule.
good? I can read your mind.
I'm just, you know what, it's been a long week. I'm just making sure I got my
I
bases
hate to
covered.
tell you this, but it's only Wednesday.
I had a question. So February 1st, we're having the Peace River Regional District come out.
No.
Well, why is that on there then?
February 1st. period.
Oh, it's the PRG.
But I think that's wrong. I have to double check. I think I got the dates off of the 2022
Okay.
schedule. And so when I put the calendar together, I also put the PRRD meetings, so that's why it says PRRD
Mm-hmm.
DC. It means PRRD means in Dawson Creek, but
Just got an updated schedule on, or Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
I will send you the updates.
I think the reason why I was confused is they're normally on the Thursday,
Yeah,
and that's why I was confused.
And I think, but during the months of February and March, sometimes they have extra meetings because of the budget season.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I will double check that.
Everything else looks good. Do you have anything to add, Councilor Johnston? Alrighty, so, moving on to item number 3, reports. So councilor report. Councilor Johnston, what you been up to?
Actually, not enough. I said we have nothing to report.
Alrighty,
We're gonna
and,
be more engaging.
yeah, and everything is going good with getting connected with your portfolios? That's
Yes,
going well?
well, this thing just crashed on me, so.
Oh, hence why you brought it, okay,
Yes.
that makes sense, yes, alright. And, yeah, if you have any other issues, then
Yes, I might have to.
Okay.
Somebody look at this thing for me.
perfect. Councillor Rabble, is not here, he's at the conference in, Prince George, the Natural Resources, what is it called again? Forum, thank you. Councillor Walls also in Prince George representing us at the Natural Resources Forum. So, Councillor Woodall, you're up.
Alright, so I got a few things. So I'll start with the Dare to Dream Society. I was contacted by the president of the Dare to Dream Society here just before the weekend, actually. I think it was Thursday, Friday last week. And he's interested in getting some ideas of kind of what we'd like to see for Canada Day and start putting something together and start working with them. Staff's already reached out to him, so I'll poke him again and be like, hey, return Mr. Stokes' phone call so we can get moving on this. So yeah, I talked to him. Then I also reached out this week to continue some of the work we started last year with the disc golf group out at Dawson Creek. Last year they held a tournament down in Poos Park. It was very successful and they got quite a bit of interest, and they held tournaments in Dawson, and they're interested in hosting more tournaments here in Poos and possibly doing some improvements to their field and expanding the golf course down there and working with the village to see what we can do. So I reached out to them and they're more than happy to work with the community. So I just like council's approval that we kind of continue with what we started last year and have staff reach out to them, or have them reach out to staff and have them start working together, and that we support the disc golf within our community, start getting people active and out there and utilize Poos Park a little bit more.
Could they come in for a delegation maybe and give us a bit of an idea of what they're looking to do? I know that they came in last year, but that was different mayor and council and stuff, so I think maybe if we could invite them in for a delegation, yeah, that'd be
We
fantastic.
give the okay to staff to do that, so I'll put that in a motion that we.
Okay.
Do you have a contact by any chance?
Yes, I will give you their vice president's contact.
Okay, all those in favor of staff reaching out to delegation? Thank you, unanimous and carried.
Alright, and along those same lines, I was also talking with Iron Wolf Athletics, which again we started working with last year for doing baseball, and they held a couple baseball tournaments in Poos, which were very successful. And they're interested in continuing to work with the village to kind of improve facilities and look at some future expansion as we go down the road, and combination of sponsorship and some of their fundraising and our facilities. So it would be something that I'd like to make a motion to council that we continue working with them to bring some more recreation to the community as well, and have staff reach out and continue that work we started.
Maybe have them come in as well, I think, just because again, that was last council and mayor, so maybe have them come in and meet with new, and then you give everybody a bit of an idea. So are you putting that motion on the floor, Councilor Woodall?
Yep.
Okay, second. Wonderful. All those in favor? Unanimous and carried.
Okay, so that takes care of that. I've got a bit of a report. So
He's me tonight, Miss Stone.
I don't have my portfolio report tonight. I'm sorry, because I forgot to reach out to staff to get that resent to me. So if I could get that resent to me in PDF, that'd be great. So the other thing on the regional district end of things, as a representative there, Poos Goopy got appointed to the Dawson Creek Community Advisory Working Group. So myself as the director, or my alternate, Mayor Beach, will attend those meetings, and it's an advisory group with Northern Health with construction of the hospital and input on that kind of stuff.
Did you say it was Dawson Creek Advisory?
What is it? Dawson Creek Community Advisory Working Group.
Like the longest title.
Yeah, so it's ourselves and I believe Hudson Hope to represent small rural communities. So as we go forward there might be some more community engagement and some more feedback and that kind of stuff as we get the terms of reference and all that moving forward. So there was that. We also had the MLAs come in this last week, or this last regional district meeting to kind of just do a meet and greet with all the regional district board members. And we got a bit of an update from Northern Health, kind of where the hospital project and all that kind of stuff is at, and other issues with Northern Health. And yeah, that's pretty much the highlights of what we did. There's also been continued discussions around connectivity and that kind of stuff, and the village is also engaging in that as well. So, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got for tonight.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to my report. Okay, well, I sat in on a Zoom meeting with the Northern Medical Program Trust, filled out one of my fancy portfolio forms. That was on January 17th. And it was just really talking about, so the Northern Medical Program Trust is a program that supports medical students within our region, looking to work in the medical fields of nursing, practitioner, physiotherapy, doctor, any of that. And they offer supports from financial supports to low income families, from 5,000 up to 10,000. They also offer housing. They offer educational support and stuff as well. So they are really trying to get students in the north getting more into the medical field and then staying in this Northern Health area. Some of their stats, so they offer training programs for doctors, nurses, and all that in rural hospitals such as Dawson Creek, Chetwynd, Fort St. John. And they use that as a way to get medical professionals working in the Northern Health. These training models allow students who work in these rural hospitals to work in multiple different fields. So they'll be in surgery in the morning and maternity at night, and so they're really getting a feel for everything, because with most things in rural communities, you're not normally stuck to one job. You're often doing multiple jobs or branching out. Some of their stats are 41% of the students are from the Northern Health region. 64% of their students are choosing to stay in small rural communities, and 31% of that 64% choose to stay in Northern Health. One of the biggest takeaways from that meeting is just getting the information about these grants and this access to the medical funding is what they're really asking for. A lot of people don't know that it's out there. And it actually got me thinking that probably around May, I would like us to maybe put out some information in our Village Voice about different grants that are, grants, bursaries, programs such as this that students within our community could have access to better their future. So I'll probably be bringing that back, Mrs. Stokes, but that really got me thinking about, I know Pouce-Coupe has its own grants and bursaries, and that's something that I know when it comes to around May, June time, that students are looking for funding for that secondary schooling. So I thought that was really, really great. I'm currently this week attending the Natural Resources Forum via Zoom, so I've been multitasking. I've had an earbud in my ear quite often, trying to catch up on the forum and listen in on that. That's been going wonderful. It's really talking a lot about the Indigenous groups in this area, working with our natural resources such as forestry, oil and gas, and really just talking about creating those partnerships and how important it is to make sure that we are having those diverse voices. And so that's been really, really great. So today was day 2. I have one more day tomorrow. I completed my conflict resolution training. Don't forget to do that. It only took me 40 minutes. It's really quick, I promise you. Very, very, very fast. It takes 40 minutes. I sent my certificate off to Mrs. Stokes, and then she's just gonna add it to, yeah.
Just so you know, you don't have to.
I thought you were gonna make a little folder, and we were gonna put it all in there so we
It's
could.
going in your file, but I have access to all of it.
Oh, okay. I was like, this way we could all high five when we're all smarter in June. We could just, I wrote myself a reminder to everybody to please fill out your portfolio form. I know it seems like a pain in the butt, but it's a really great way for you to remember the 9 million bits of information we get during these portfolio meetings and really put it into perspective. These are they're in the mailboxes, right? The portfolio forms? They're right there.
They're on the shelf.
A whole pile of them. So yours don't need to be as long-winded as mine. I'm a chatty Cathy, but you can always make them much smaller. Just a note, we're having the seniors dinner on Friday. They did put a thing out. I did share it. So there's a seniors dinner this Friday at 5:30. They're serving like ham and turkey and roast beef, a whole pile of really delicious sounding food. So I might very well be going. I read the ad and was getting hungry. And I am also meeting with, I had a group, I've had about 4 different people in the community reach out to me over the past couple of months about their concern for seniors programs within Pouce-Coupe. And I know that we are currently working with the Peace River Regional District to look into the seniors aging in place program that they're currently doing. But I have had one of the residents get in contact with the lady who runs Meals on Wheels, and they've actually invited me to a meeting with them on Tuesday, January 24th. So I'm going to be meeting with them and just sort of getting a idea of what she'd maybe like to see in Pouce. So I'll be bringing that back and kind of giving you guys an idea of different things, and maybe even getting her to come on in and talk to everybody. So I'm doing that January 24th. And then the other question I had actually for you, Mrs. Stokes, is what was the name of that local government training program that we just talked about like a week and a half ago, when we were talking about like the conflict resolution stuff and all that other training, and you said there's another new local one. I know. Do you remember what it was called?
That's the LGLA.
Is that the LGLA? Okay, it is that.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't 100% sure.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
the March one.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't another one that we were missing out on. I'm just trying to
After
brand.
that, it's NCLGA.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Okay, well that's everything for me. That's my dealio. So we have no question period because nobody's here. It's just us. So now we are going to be moving into the in-camera per section 98(1) of the community charter. Somebody read 15.1 recommendation, please.
Recommend that council moves to in-camera as per section 90 of the Community Charter Act. Of the Community Charter.
And then, Mrs. Stokes, does he need to read G and K as well?
It just needs to read that the council moves to in-camera as per section 91 G. That's it.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Second, thank you. Do I need to do all those in favor for that?
Yes, please.
Yes, all those in favor? There we go. Just half the things you do and half the things